Either way, it's the influenza vaccine, and it is a vaccine just like all the other vaccines that a lot of people in their emails admitted they were happy to get when they were younger and encouraged their children to get and their family members to get. It is a vaccine just like those other vaccines. I think what people get concerned about is that the flu vaccine is something you get every single year, and there's a lot of talk about whether or not it works. Mm-hmm. And so some insight into how they do that I thought might be helpful. So every year, early this 2018, back in probably January and February, a lot of scientists were spending a lot of time figuring out what strains of flu virus were out there, what strains of flu virus people were getting. They can check pigs, they can check chickens. That's where flu viruses come from. That's why we call them things like avian flu or swine flu, because they come from birds and pigs. Mm-hmm. You can check all these different places to kind of see which strains of flu seem to be most popular. And that's what we base next year's flu vaccine on, because those are the most prominent strains out in the community. Now, obviously, that means they can't cover every single strain. It would be impossible. So you make a vaccine out of the most common strains that are out there circulating. It's usually either a trivalent or quadrivalent vaccine, and that means either 3 or 4 strains. Mm-hmm. And it's usually 2 strains of A flu and 1 strain of B flu, or 2 of A and 2 of B. Okay. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And if you hear, by the way, I thought this was interesting. You know how we talk about H and N, H1, N2,
Sure.
H17, N10, all these different, have you heard that? Do you know what that references?
No.
Okay. I thought this might be helpful to understand what we're talking about. Those are all referencing specific strains of flu, and they're based on 2 proteins that are out on the outside of the virus, 2 little things that kind of stick off the outside of the virus, called hemagglutinin and neuraminidase, HN. That's where those come from. And the reason those are important is that that's what we target. Those are the things our antibodies can latch onto and kill the virus. So we need those HN things to decide, hey, these HNs are circulating the most. Let's make vaccines that will help you make antibodies to those HNs.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's where that comes from.
Yes.